Cellercise family, this is Dave Hall speaking. It's good to be in front of you. It's been a while. I hope everybody's doing okay and enduring the challenges that we have. I'm hoping everybody's beginning to really experience what Cellercise can do for you. Now, I know a lot of you have had some great results, and some of you have been a little discouraged. And I want to talk a little bit about that in a few minutes. But first, we're going to read some customer reviews. And I want to encourage you, if you've had an experience with Cellercise, please share it with us so we can share it with others. It's helping so many people on so many different levels. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and get started. What we're going to be doing tonight, we're going to go over the customer reviews. I'll read some questions that we may have. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk a little bit about how we can overcome being discouraged. Because some of us have gotten great results and others haven't reached the level of results that they've been looking for. So I want to share a little bit about my feelings on that, what I've experienced when I've worked with people over the years, and how we can help you feel joyful, feel excited, be engaged, and be experiencing more of your greater health potential as well. So if you know of anybody who should be listening to this, anybody who's got issues, we're going to be sharing quite a few customer reviews tonight that might be beneficial to them too. We want to share this. We've got a grassroots movement. It is increasing. It is growing. We're getting out to more and more people. We were tripped up by the COVID-19. I want to thank all of you for your incredible patience in waiting for the trifolds to arrive. We are now shipping out trifolds. The price of the trifolds was supposed to change at the beginning of last week. They did change, but there was a discrepancy on our website. It's supposed to be $75 more on a trifold than it is right now. So if you know anybody who's really interested in a trifold, have them order right now, because I've got my webmaster team working on the issues so that we have no choice. We have to raise our costs because our costs have gone up. The COVID-19 has disrupted our supply chain, so half folds can be ordered at the lower cost now until the next shipment arrives. And the half fold Cellercisers will be shipping out mid-September. We've got all the components, we're putting them together, and we're working at getting components ready for our next shipment. And for those of you who are joining us who are not really familiar with Cellercise, Cellercise is not weightlifting. It's not a conventional form of exercise. Cellercise is weight bearing. The difference is that rather than lift weight away from gravity, we're increasing the weight of gravity. That increase of weight is on every cell membrane in your entire body over 100 times a minute. That's every muscle, bone, connective tissue, ligament, tendon, skin, collagen, protein, fibers. The movement up and down, I like to think of it like a scrub brush. As you move up and down, all the fluid in your body all moving up and down. And as we move up and down, we help backflush valves, we help open up circulatory systems, both in the lymphatic system as well as in the circulatory system. The movement up and down makes it easier on the heart. The heart doesn't have to work as hard, even though you get great exercise. The movement up and down is helping to move the fluid through the one-way valves, through the capillaries, to the brain, and other body parts and functions. So great exercise that eliminates up to 7/8 of the ballistic impact or jar to your skeletal system compared to running on a hard surface. There are many different movements we can do on a Cellerciser to focus the effect. So we address knee issues, hip, back, shoulder issues by working at structuring and strengthening the supporting muscles and ligaments around the joints. We work a lot with chiropractors and trainers, physical therapists, and doctors of all genres. If you know of any and they would like to know more about Cellercise, I'm happy to share with them. I've been doing this now for over 30 years. I helped reignite the entire mini trampoline industry and developed the trifold Cellerciser. It's not a typical rebounder. You can't buy these in a store. They're through doctors, health practitioners, and through our Cellercise family and affiliates. So the Cellerciser uses a tri-adaptable spring design. It's a different patented spring that has a larger diameter in the middle. Then it has a ridge where it tapers, and then another ridge where it tapers again. So it doesn't matter whether you're 20 pounds or over 300 pounds. The spring is the only self-adjusting spring of its kind on the market. And as you move up and down, you're going to be utilizing that portion of the spring you need based upon how much you weigh or how high you are jumping. In Cellercise, we teach leverage. We teach people how to alter the angle of their body in different positions so we can focus the effect on different muscle groups. But unlike typical calisthenic or typical exercises, even though we can focus on certain areas of the body, the entire body is still working collectively as a whole, not as parts. And so we've experienced an enormous amount of strength and balance that we've been able to apply to everything out in the sports industry, whether it's football, whether it's tennis, whether it's aerobic activities or martial arts. What we do is we help you create strength in balanced positions as well as unbalanced positions. For example, if you're working the stomach muscles and you're tilting backwards a little bit, as I tilt backwards, I'm becoming strong in an altered position. Nobody else is doing that. No one out there is becoming strong in an altered position. Not like you can on a Cellerciser. And so that gives you a competitive advantage in virtually any activity. If you're working the lower back and the buttocks and you're leaning forward or you're doing jumping jacks, by the way, this is the way that I recommend jumping jacks on a Cellerciser so that you're not landing on the springs. Because you land on the springs doing jumping jacks, you can potentially fracture or break your spring. The movement up and down helps to break up stress or tension, increases circulation. Again, for all areas of the body, we teach people how to create or remove the stress or tension in the body through the gentle movement up and down, much like a baby. If a baby's fussy and we gently move a baby up and down, they relax. Well, the movement up and down on the Cellerciser is extremely relaxing. We do different movements on the Cellerciser for, this one I think has been absolutely wonderful for men, for the prostate areas, as well as for hips, thighs, and knees. I'm not going to tell you what the doctor said on my last physical, but just say that he was blown away. He really was. He gave me a nickname, which I'm not going to repeat. But it doesn't matter because the Cellercise has been just a phenomenal program, and we want to encourage everyone who hasn't tried it, please try it. Give it a chance. See what it does in your own personal life. I could tell you, and I could speak for hours, and I have on YouTube programs that you can access through our YouTube channel that deal with all kinds of circulatory issues and what people have experienced. You can go to our website, cellercise.com/reviews, and you can listen to what people are saying. And I'd like to read some of these right now. This comes from Sarah. As a lifelong asthmatic, 45 years, Cellercising is literally the only exercise that has helped increase my lung function capacity, while at the same time not stressing them to the point that I need to take my inhalers. Thank you, Dave Hall, for this miracle machine. There's a technique that I designed and developed on the Cellerciser that helps to open up bronchial tubes and lungs. You have to approach it cautiously and carefully, and if you have a medical condition, I always have to say consult with your doctor or health practitioner, or feel free to have them give me a call. But rather than going out and doing a lot of long distance running or swimming activities, standing on a Cellerciser, bending at the knees slightly, putting the hands in front and gently moving up and down, breathing in and out, helps to open up the bronchial tubes in the lungs, helps to clear them out, helps to make them stronger without having to go out and do a lot of those long distance running type programs to exercise the lungs. And if you're a singer or you're a radio announcer, you all honestly should be learning how to do this. I really believe that because of what it does. But you may even hear it in my voice when I'm done. But it's a movement where we just bend at the knee, stand up, breathe in, come down.
Oh, I don't know if anybody was able to hear me or not, but let's see. Oh, now it's on now. Maybe that's better. Anybody comment? Yeah? Okay. Thanks, Brooklyn. All right. So were they able to hear any of it? Oh, good. Okay. Sorry, guys. Okay, it's just quieter. This is going to be better now. So that movement up and down, it helps to get to the other 1/3 of the lungs that most people don't get enough oxygen to on a day-to-day basis, as it opens up bronchial tubes and lungs. Now those lungs and those bronchial tubes can be sensitive when you first begin. You can be clearing things out. So I don't suggest you do it too much when you first begin. Just see, and see how your body feels after you've done it. So thank you, Sarah, for sharing that. Hello, Dave. I trust all is well. I purchased healthful Cellerciser after watching your most recent YouTube video dated June 1st, 2020. Prior to that day, I watched several of your videos for a number of weeks. I don't know whether to apologize or say thank you, but was waiting for the right time to make the purchase. The catalyst was the introductory message that you gave in that video regarding learning to enjoy the journey. As I watched and listened, I was impressed by the relevancy of every word you spoke. You see, just the night before I had experienced one of those moments you described, I was literally in that dark room fighting against that which was wrong. In that state of mind, everything you described took place, the frustration, the despair, etc. That night I cried out to God for answers to overcome and rise above my circumstances. The very next day I watched your video, and the first statement that you made helped me to see why I have not been enjoying the journey. You can't find happiness at the end of the journey if you're not willing to bring it along with you along the way. Be thankful for what I currently have and identify what is good in my life. And it's so important we do that. We need to have an attitude of gratitude. And as we do that, we become empowered. We become happier. We become more joyful. We become more on purpose. But when we fight against the things that are wrong and we dwell upon that and we play in the pig pen, then that just tears us down. And so we're going to talk about that because we don't want to get in that pig pen. We want to stay out of the pig pen. The moment you realize that you're in your mind, you're fighting against something that is wrong, get out of that. Get out of it. There's nothing productive in fighting against that which is wrong. You actually become frustrated, angry, and hostile, and all these negative character traits. So we've got to guard against that. We've got such incredible potential if we could learn how to channel it. We've talked about physical exercise. We're also going to talk a little bit about mental exercise tonight, because the mental exercise is just as important as the physical exercise, and we literally have to take steps to exercise our thoughts and our ideas and our vision. And as we actually begin to do that, it takes root, and our passion and our actions start to change as well. So envision the outcome that I desire rather than focusing on the current circumstances. Yeah, we're all on a journey, and in that journey, we can be defining the direction of that journey, where we want to go. And if we don't do that, then we're just kind of tossed around in our day-to-day lives and never really are able to focus or reach that greater health potential, and on many different levels. So you said that our goals and objectives are great, but the process of achieving them is what defines us and our character and the person we are becoming. This spoke volumes to me because I saw that when I focused exclusively on the goals, objectives, needs, and even the problems, I found myself in a state of frustration and defeat. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. I also recognize in your statement that what I know is the heart of God, which is to see us develop in character and become who He already sees us to be. And there's, for those of you who are scriptorians, the scriptures actually say that God sees us and desires for us that which is good. Doesn't desire to punish us or destroy us. He sees us and wants us. He loves us. He wants us to become our greater potential. Well, we have to see ourselves that way. We've got to see ourselves and not beat ourselves up. Be able to move on, not hold on. So she goes on. From your statement, I clearly understood that when we continually fight against or meditate on the dark circumstances, we inevitably develop the characteristics of those dark circumstances, transforming our personality and thought life. This is huge. This in turn influences patterns of behavior and repetitive life experiences. Dave, I'm not sure I can fully express how much I appreciate the time that you took with us, your listeners, to see beyond the surface. I'll post this. I remember reading this one not too long ago, but I am truly grateful to Diane for bringing that up. Brenda writes, was diagnosed with osteoporosis a few months ago. My daughter has a Cellerciser and I suggested I get one too. I've been bouncing since the end of May. Nancy writes, I've been using a rebounder as my exercise regime since 2004. At the beginning of this pandemic, I was wanting to upgrade my previous rebounder, thinking it would help the pain that had developed in my ankles because of delays in shipping, etc. My order from Bellicon had stalled, and I had just sold my other rebounder, another Bellicon, in hopes of not losing any time away from rebounding. That didn't work out so well, as I was ultimately without a rebounder for 11 agonizing days. While remaining positive, I would get a shipped notice from Bellicon. I was looking around online for new routines, and that's when I came across Dave Hall and his Cellerciser. I was fascinated by his examples of strength, his passion for promoting good health, his amazing body, and his integrity to stand behind the fabrication of his rebounder. Thank you. Within 45 minutes, I had chatted with someone at Cellercise, and when she said, if you order today, there's a good chance it will be shipped today, I was sold. I canceled my order with the other company, and within a few days I had my new Cellerciser. What a difference in everything. The balance, the approach, the various exercises, and the results. Thanks, Dave, for all you are and for what you do for everyone. You know, you guys affect me too. Cellercise family is literally that. It's people all collectively working together to support and uplift each other in the journey that we're all going through in this life. Says, this is from Claire, bounced on a rebounder on and off for 20 years, then got in my late 50s, was wondering how I was going to continue working in my physical job, looked up how to get fit in 10 minutes on the internet and found David Hall. I thought if I'm going to buy a really good rebounder, I'm going to do research while I save. So 8 months later, after extensive research, came to the conclusion Cellerciser is definitely the best, and I'm so happy with it. I've also bought one for my daughter and her family. Thank you, David Hall. Diane writes, looking for something to move my lymph. Saw your video and was sold immediately. Here's something I want to share with you. If a mini trampoline or rebounder is soft or too soft, if you don't have enough resistance, and there's got to be a balance. You have to have movement without jarring, but you also have to have resistance without it being soft. If it's too soft and you're moving up and down, you don't have enough resistance, it doesn't move the fluid. It doesn't help build the bones or the muscles. We have to have the resistance, and that's why we have that, we call it a tridaptable spring. Anne says, not sure I exactly recollect. Think I came across you when looking for different things to do on the mini tramp. That would have been very early this year. From there, I researched the brand, made up my mind that I was consistent using my mini rebounder, that I would get a Cellerciser. I did, and my Cellerciser has been shipped. Glad to have you with us. Okay. Let's see. In 2000, we've got so many of these. We won't read too many more, but I'll save some. We've got some really good ones here, it looks like. Karen writes, in 2007, my hubby was diagnosed with NHL. I'm trying to remember what that is. I did some research and found Cellerciser. When I called for info, I spoke with a very helpful man who shared his lymphoma story with me about the positive effects of rebounding on the lymph system. Non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Thanks, Brooklyn. That's right. I immediately ordered one. We used it quite a bit in our little house and eventually bought one for our son's family. We got out of the habit after a while, but then the lymphoma got ugly in 2018, and we have been very devoted Cellerciser workout devotees, especially this year, and have been so grateful for the Facebook videos. We need to get another balance bar for our son and then order another Cellerciser for our daughter's family. I'm an unofficial Cellerciser salesperson every chance I get. No, you're all official. No, that's great. I didn't see any questions in these ones today.
Do you have any advice on osteoporosis?
Osteoporosis, yeah, we've got some great customer reviews you might want to look on our website under cellercise.com/reviews. And we have a story of a lady who went from osteoporosis to osteopenia and what her doctors told her and how they said that's not possible and how she'd been tracking all of her results and scores. She's not the only one. We've had a number of people who've said the same thing. When we create osteoblastic activity so that the bones will utilize the minerals within our diet, and we need weight-bearing activities. We don't need jarring. We don't need to hit a hard surface. That can be as damaging as it can be beneficial. But we do need weight. Now, when the astronauts were floating around in space for 2 weeks, they had lost up to 15% of their bone and muscle mass in just 2 weeks because it was weightless. So without weight, the body atrophies. It gets weaker. When we increase weight, it gets stronger. It was NASA's research on trampolines that led to the development of the Cellerciser. It was all weight-bearing. And since it's weight-bearing, it helped the body can utilize the nutrients to help build up more muscle mass and bone density. So it's very easy. There are certain things we can do on the Cellerciser for that, but please keep your questions coming in. I want to know how to best help and serve you. We've had a whole bunch of trifold Cellercisers, hundreds of them that we shipped out to catch up. And I want to talk about the trifold and a little bit about the characteristics of the trifold for a moment. So, Brooklyn, if you can kind of follow me, I'm going to show what a trifold. This is my personal trifold. Of course, this is a trifold also, but this one has been bouncing around in a car for quite a while. This is my unit. It's 15 years old. You have much newer units. But I still use mine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's I tell people they need to be broken in a little bit, and when they're broken in, they're like a nice warm slipper. So when I have my Cellerciser, the new ones are going to be a little more stiff initially. I want you to see the play in this. We have 6 hinges on a trifold Cellerciser, and the 6 hinges allow for more movement in the frame itself and has a slightly different feel than a half-fold Cellerciser that locks into place. So the trifold frame actually moves some with you as you are moving, keeping you a little more centered. My wife likes a trifold quite a bit more. A lot of people like the trifold because of the way it feels. The half-fold locks into place, it's a little stiffer. The trifold actually moves with you. And again, it's like it's like a skyscraper that is earthquake resistant. If there's an earthquake and the earth moves and the skyscraper moves, it protects the integrity of the structure, doesn't throw things around as much. Well, that's the trifold. You move, and as you're moving, the frame moves with you and the springs. You don't know it because you're on top of it. It helps protect the springs a little bit more. It doesn't throw you quite as much, and arguably gives you just a little bit better workout. But they're both made with the same materials. Half-fold is going to give you the same results. They're both very good. So on the trifold, you see it's nice and loose. As I open it up, just pop it open here. You notice all the springs. This is what when I entered the industry, this is what the mini trampoline industry was using. And these little tube springs were really jarring. So when I lift it up, you see that all the springs are in place. Everything is fine. You'll notice that there's movement in the actual frame itself, and it kind of can change shape a little bit while you're moving up and down or jumping from side to side to accommodate your movements. And when I lay it on the ground, it's completely flat. Okay, now I'm going to show you a newer trifold, because a newer trifold is a little different. You notice that it has much less movement in it in the top initially. When you open it up and then pop it open, take a look at the springs. Because initially on a trifold, and this is normal, initially on a trifold, they can be a little bit bent. If you stand on it and jump on it, they'll probably just pop right back into place. But you can also, when you're opening it, you can just give it a little pop, just like this. And then they pop right into place. As your Cellerciser wears on the steel, the springs are stronger steel than the pins. So you'll start to wear grooves into the pins, which allows the spring to move based upon your own habits and habits of jumping. And as they wear on that pin, it smooths out the pin. And you'll notice after a while when you've done that, you don't have to put the springs in place anymore. They just pop into place when you open it. And that's a little bit of the nature of the trifold. So as you're opening it, take a look at it and see how the springs are, and you can just generally pop those into place.
Would a cheap rebounder cause plantar fasciitis?
Oh, good. Yeah, absolutely. Here's why. In fact, 1995, Dr. Morton Walker, who's a customer of mine, we lectured in universities and traveled around together. He's a very prolific writer as well. Dr. Morton Walker came out with an article in the Townsend Letter for Doctors in 1995, warning doctors to avoid those units like this because the abrupt jarring effect, he said, quote, is the same as landing on the floor, unquote. You just do it a little later. It stretches a little bit, and then the jarring effect is how we can tear muscles and ligaments and fascia. When we're on a Cellerciser, if we have a weakness or if we have a condition such as plantar fasciitis, when we're on a Cellerciser, I encourage people to be barefoot, because when you're barefoot, your foot will start to move to support your natural alignment, not the alignment of your shoe. So that as we Cellercise over a period of time, the bones, muscles, and ligaments start to become more flexible, which is a good thing. Because then when we go out and we do something more strenuous, then we're less likely to tear the fascia or the ligaments or tendons in the different areas of our body. So that's, yeah, I just like to do it without shoes. Any other questions, Brooklyn? Yep.
Are there exercises to help with fibromyalgia?
And chronic fatigue syndrome. Yeah, we've got some great customer reviews on that as well. I can't make any medical claims. I'm not allowed to. I like to work with medical doctors. They like to tell me why the Cellerciser works, and I like to share with you what they often say. But the movement up and down on a Cellerciser is very gentle to the body. It can help reduce inflammation. It activates the lymphatic system while it moves fluid through the body. And as you activate the lymphatic system, which is activated by pressure changes within the body. So as we are moving up and down, as we move up and down, millions of one-way valves start sucking. And so we create within a few minutes a vacuum system of suction with millions of one-way valves pulling that circulation between the bones, joints, tissue spaces, nerves, different areas of our body to help promote healing. And it's very gentle. We've got some great customer reviews. One lady who said on a scale of 1 to 10, her fibromyalgia symptoms were 15. She was in agony. She got on a Cellerciser, and within weeks, she says her pain level now is between 0 to 3. That's a huge difference. That's huge. And she worked with her doctor, and her doctor was one of my customers. So I really appreciated her sharing that with us. But yeah, keep the questions coming. Let me know what you would like me to talk about in the upcoming weeks. School has begun. I want to encourage all of you to have your children, if you can, Cellercise before they go to school. Here's why. Number one, bouncing up and down on a Cellerciser, it's a wake-up call for the body. The movement up and down is stimulating the thyroid, the adrenals, the endocrine system. Everything is gently working collectively together. It's not jarring. It helps to open up circulatory systems. It helps to break up sticky blood cells. That's huge. And we'll talk about more about that again in the near future. But as we oxygenate the body, as the cell membrane gets stronger, it becomes more virus resistant. If we get on the Cellerciser as part of our daily routine, and we run as fast as we can for 1 minute, we know through Dr. Arthur C. Guidance' book, Medical Physiology, that we can increase the number of active white blood cells in the body by 10 to 15 times. And they can stay there for up to 1 hour. So it's just like giving ourselves, I feel, our own natural antibiotic every morning when we first get up. A lot of additional benefits that you can have. Children who are learning, if you have to memorize something, try it on the Cellerciser. See what happens. When you do it, the technique is you get on the Cellerciser, have something that you can read while you're bouncing up and down, and speak out loud. So if you're learning the timetables and you're learning 2 times 2 equals 4, try to visualize it in your mind as you're moving up and down. Whatever it is, if you're studying medicine, same principle. See the word in your mind as you're moving up and down. I believe that, well, we know that there are chemical processes occurring within the brain as we are using it, and the movement up and down has had a profound effect on a great many people who've been able to learn faster and retain longer. So we've even been able to work with children that have dyslexia and helping to retrain the brain. And the brain is trainable, and we can retrain the brain. There's so much potential in that brain. And when we're moving up and down and doing different movements on a Cellerciser, we're stimulating up to 90% of brain activity. It's huge. Anything else, Brooklyn? No? Okay. So again, please share your customer reviews with us. I don't have a lot I'm going to share tonight on the Cellerciser. Watch out for that Jamba run. I've been enjoying on our Mr. Rebounder app. Let's go back to there we go. On our advanced section, and so has my son. He's been doing it too. The second, it says weight loss. That movement is about 20 minutes long. Repetitions of the Jamba run. It really increases metabolism. So if your metabolism gets too high, you're going to lose weight. And if you keep it too high, you may lose too much weight. So there are those who have that issue as well. So back off. Maybe do it only 10 minutes instead of doing the full 20-minute session, which is what that particular one is. Again, let me know what you'd like. Now, if there are some of you who would like a new routine, we developed, over 30 different routines for beginning, intermediate, advanced, seniors on our MrRebounder.com website. You can go to it. It explains how it works, how to get involved. You've got over 30 different routines that you can pick from, and then you can create your own, and you can save your own routines in your own personal library as well. So if you're creating your own and you want to pick movements, you will see a whole list of movements, and you'll have an explanation of what those movements do. So if you...
we have questions.
Okay, Brooklyn, what's the question? Whoop.
What do you recommend for ankles and feet that are very painful after I Cellercise? I've been doing it for 3 weeks and I feel great except for my feet.
Good. Cellercise has been very, 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 very helpful exposing weaknesses of all kinds and conditions. So if you're having foot issues and ankle issues when you begin, it's a good chance that you have some issues there, and you know that, you probably know that. So there are some movements that are designed to help with the ankle and with the feet, and I'll show those to you real quickly. But I always believe it's best not to wear shoes unless your doctor prescribes them, because if you are barefooted or in socks, your muscles, bones, and ligaments will start to move over time, and you may be experiencing that. They start to move to support your natural alignment, not the alignment of the shoe. if you're getting more movement in the foot and you haven't had that much movement in the foot for quite a period of time, you're going to notice that more than likely. Many of us did when we first started Cellercising. So just go easy, no high jumping. You don't need to. Allow those muscles and ligaments and tendons in both bones to move and become more flexible over time. And it can take time depending upon your particular condition. But standing on, can they see this okay, Brooklyn? Mm-hmm. Standing on the Cellerciser and just lifting the heels up and down is going to work the arch of the foot, the ankles of the foot, as well as the foot itself. So this is a good one. Doing the twist, which is really good anyway, for digestion, elimination processes, liver, kidney, spleen, gallbladder, pancreas, adrenals, lower back. I mean, it's really massaging all those internal organs every day as you move up and down, side to side. I think it's the second most important activity we can do. But as we gently twist side to side, we're also taking the foot and the ankle and moving it. Rocking side to side is simple, but it also helps to work the thighs, hips, knees, and ankles as well. And of course, when we start to do the ski patrol or the whippy ski patrol, we're really going to be working the ankles. I would not do, this one here, fine. I mean, if you feel okay to do that. I would not, while you're first starting, we want to build up the supporting muscles and ligaments around the knees and the hips. Leveraging too much weight too early to those areas if they're weak, can be uncomfortable. Want to build them up first. It takes ligaments and tendons longer to adapt compared to muscles. So we want to give it some time. But I wouldn't do the kick outs here, side to side, when you're first beginning, because you're coming down with a little more momentum or stress on that side of the knee. Same. Mm-hmm.
More questions.
Oh yeah, okay, good. We got more questions. All right, this one here is great for the stomach, but rather than do this one, which really, that's intense, a lot more intense than just doing a sit-up. That one I probably wouldn't do initially because, again, you're coming down straight-legged on those knees. We want to build up the muscles. This is how we do it. We want to build up the muscles around the knees first, and these movements will do that. Same thing, kicking back. When your back and your buttocks get stronger, your leg will come up more. Initially, with most people, this area is pretty weak because they haven't been exercising much with it. And so rather than the leg coming up like this, it comes up like this. Don't worry about that. It's okay. So if you're kicking your legs up like this, with all that weight on it, when you come down, that helps lift, tighten, tone the whole backside. Yeah.
Does rebounding 10 minutes a day help in reducing eye bags? If so, why?
Yeah, eye bags. Okay. When we sleep at night, we lay down horizontally. Most of us do. And when we do that, the fluid in our body wants to find its natural equilibrium or balance. So a lot more of it goes to the head. When we're asleep, we're not moving much. The lymphatic system is much more sluggish. Do I still have we lost the light. Can you get Brooklyn for me? Quickly, thanks, honey. Brooklyn, we lost the power. Did we lose the power? Is it on?
It's still on.
Okay, is this still on? Sorry guys, our light went off for some reason. I'm not sure why. Can you try turning it on and off again?
It's out of battery. Does the original 10-minute routine really produce six-pack abs without other exercises?
Oh yeah, but let's get the light on. Can we get the light back on? Because it plugs in. Hold on. Yeah, it should be. Okay, there's always technical difficulties. Today has been a technical difficulty day. We'll work on that later. Apologize for that. But so when you're laying down at night, a lot of the fluid goes to the head and it can fill up around the face. We get on a Cellerciser in the morning. It takes me about 3 minutes now of moving up and down on a Cellerciser. Millions of one-way valves start sucking because of the movement. The pressure changes are weightless over 100 times a minute, and then you have weight. And so you have this pumping action, this suction occurring, and it pulls all the fluid away from the face, which is what it does for the eyes. And a great many of us have experienced that. As far as if it's fat and things in the eyes, and just weight loss, but the circulation part of it, Cellercise can help with. What was the next question? What?
4.
Question 4. Oh, what nutrition is essential to get your body at 60s? I'm 45. Okay, you asked another one though. Six packs, abs. Okay, you know something? I turned down an infomercial because of a movement that I can show you that is extremely powerful for building up, a six-pack, much more so than a typical sit-up. And I don't know if the camera can see me if I sit down here or not, but there's different approaches you can take on it. But if I sit down and I start to bounce up and down, all I have to take away my hands, these muscles are working. And it's simple. You can do it watching TV, but you're still working these muscles. You can take your fingers and feel how tight that is. That's working. As you get stronger, you can lean back further, lift up one leg, and now I'm leveraging a lot more weight in this area of the body. Lift up the other leg, eventually lift up both legs, bounce a little higher. This movement up and down is all being done right there with the stomach muscles. But the way I like to do it, I like to tilt backwards, because the moment you tilt backwards, all these muscles all the way up and down have to hold you up. When you move up and come down with more weight on it, instead of lifting that weight away from gravity by doing a sit-up, you're increasing the weight of gravity. And it's not just here. It's still on the entire body. That's what makes Cellercise so efficient. And again, I've read or shared with you some of the stories of people that are now in their 90s. Some of them have been with me over 20 years. And they're still telling me that they're enjoying a great quality of life. A gentleman called me up a few months ago to say thank you. And I appreciate that, by the way. So, stomach muscles, leveraging weight. You can hold on to the balance bar. And that gives you more confidence, which gives you the ability to leverage your weight a little bit more as well. That is a lot more intense than that. So yeah, you can. Again, I'm not as young as I was, and you probably can't see anyway because of all the shadows, but still, the muscles are there. And that's a guy who's going to be 64 years old in just over a month. But so again, we've learned with Cellercise, it's not about age. Cells are always replacing themselves. You can strengthen and improve the efficiency of a cell at any age. And that's what Cellercise helps people do at any age. And we can start off on there's many different ways that we can begin with the Cellerciser. We address back issues and how to open up the back through different movements. Lower back. The movements like this, which may look a little funny, but I do it every day. It's great. Any other questions? Oh yeah, you came. Did Christine give you these? Hey Christine, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. She's been great. She's behind the scenes helping all the time as we're going through the COVID-19. She was ready to bail me out tonight if Brooklyn wasn't able to make it here. Brooklyn, I tell you, I really appreciate her too. She's a remarkable girl. She's graduated a year early from high school and is now in college and has been accepted into the nursing program. And she's doing great. So proud of you. Thanks. What nutrition is essential to get your body amazing in the 60s? I'm a 45-year-old. Thanks. I wish I had an answer for that. People, my wife, everybody says, what is your diet like? What did I have this morning? I had egg and chili. This afternoon I had pasta with salad. It's more of what I don't eat. I don't. I like to eat the good fats, and avocados and salads are good. Yogurt. I like yogurt. I'll put frozen berries in yogurt and some granola on top, sprinkle some honey on it. Eat that almost every night. It helps me relax better for some reason. I gently bounce on the Cellerciser and go to bed. It's more, I stopped eating pizza about, I don't know, how many years has it been, Brooklyn? A lot. Probably about 6-7 years ago. But prior to that, it's, to me, I know diet has a lot to do with health. You want to make sure you have good nutrients in the body. But if you're not perfect, Cellercise helps to flush out what you don't need. You help the body perform more efficiently so that it can utilize nutrients that it needs and get rid of the ones that it doesn't need. And digestion, elimination processes, that they improve, our body improves too. So I think I can always improve on my diet, but I don't really know what the perfect diet is. I just eat as much as I can live foods. I like live foods, no question. And then the rest of my diet. And sometimes it's not always convenient, but I still Cellercise, and the body seems to know what it needs to do if I can give it the ability to do it. So, does rebounding replace, say, jogging 5 km 3 times a week, or good to have both? Well, Dr. J.E. Schmidt was quoted in Dr. Morton Walker's book. He was a member of the American Medical Association, quote, "Jogging can kill you," unquote. Jogging is great, but accumulatively, jogging will probably take far more out of you than it's ever going to give you in return, because of the ballistic impact and the jarring effect, especially on the joints. Now, that being said, we have a lady who is part of our Cellercise family, and she is wonderful, and I've got some wonderful pictures of her, some stories of her. She has won so many different medals and trophies from triathlon type events and Ironman events, and she's 59 years old, and she doesn't look it, and she certainly is in phenomenal shape. She does all of her training on the Cellerciser. She's a truck driver. She works about 80 hours a week. And we have pictures of her taking her Cellerciser out of her truck, putting it on the side of the road, and doing her Cellercising and getting back in the truck, because she's got the trifold Cellerciser. And she said it's a hoot, because she sees people that drive by, they honk at her, they'll give her the thumbs up, they really encourage her. But she's doing phenomenal. And that's how she trains. And people ask her, "Boy, you must train a lot." She says, "No, I Cellercise." And it's, so yeah, it's, saw your amazing test, the strength test before and after rebounding. Why did that happen? There's several reasons. With Cellercise, we're not just working muscles. We're not working parts of the body. We're working the entire body collectively as a whole. If you ever take a stick, you take a little stick and you break that stick, not too bad. But if you take a whole bunch of sticks, put them together, and then try to break it, it's kind of hard to do that. Well, when you're Cellercising, you're not working one part of the body. You're working all of the muscles collectively as a whole, as one whole body. So when the whole body is communicating and the whole body is more balanced and stronger, you see that in the actual results. This is one of the reasons why I can, and I have, helped people improve their golf swing, the tennis stroke, their martial arts, their yoga. They're big in yoga, because yoga, you're trying to create balance in the body, and Cellercise is, and the techniques that I teach are phenomenal for giving you a better yoga experience, without question. Yoga, in fact, I'm going to close tonight because I don't want to take up your whole evening, but I'll tell you one story. I was in, and you may have seen it. It's been on YouTube, and she was delightful. I was in front of a few thousand people lecturing, and there were a lot of people there. At the very end of the lecture, I asked for volunteers to come up, and I was going to do the strength and balance test, and one of them was the yoga instructor for the event. And if you ever wanted to see a woman who was determined to prove me wrong, she was it, and I loved her. I really did. We're up on stage. I've done everything. I get them on stage, and I did the test on the strength and balance. And of course, even though we had a bodybuilder, a martial artist, a yoga instructor, and several others there, and they all failed the strength and balance test because most everybody is carrying around all these imbalances in the body. They don't know how to get rid of them because you stretch one part of the body or another part, but you're never working the whole body collectively. And so Cellercise works the whole body collectively as a whole, breaking up blockages, opening up circulation, creating more chi in the body. For those who are chi masters, they know that the chi is greatest at the top of the balance. Now we generate energy through the movement up and down, but the energy flows through the body at the top of the balance. And as we come down, the body works collectively. Well, when I tested her the first time, you can watch it on YouTube. She's on the right-hand side of the screen on stage, and she's just trying to prove me wrong. And of course, she couldn't. And then I got him on the Cellerciser. And after being on the Cellerciser, we tested him again. Night and day difference. Blew her, blew the audience, blew everyone away. You can't argue it. She became a Cellercise customer as well. So we've got, all we're doing is trying to, if you like something, you like bicycling, if you like skiing, if you like gymnastics, if you like sports or athletics of virtually any type, basketball as well, there are reasons to consider Cellercise to enhance your overall performance. And we've been able to do that. I've worked with a wrestler who went on to win state in high school. I worked with a basketball team that also went on to win state. Obviously, it wasn't all from the Cellerciser, but if that gives you a competitive advantage, I taught the SWAT team in North Las Vegas, the program. When I was done, every single SWAT member there took home a trifold Cellerciser because they understood how important it was for them to have a competitive advantage. And when you're the only one around who's exercising in a balanced state, and you have that kind of strength and balance, and you take that with you, well, it's going to affect your performance. And golfing is one of the funnest to work with and see how much better they do. But again, if you have any questions, give me a call. Please share this with other people. We want to create the movement. There are a lot of people out there that really need to give Cellercise. Give it a try, and know that this is a one-time investment for a lifetime of benefit. We want you to be able to do it for the rest of your life. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a call. We've been on the phone day and night. I apologize for those who've called, who've tried to get in. Please just keep trying. I'm sure that things are going to slow down. We've hired 2 more people. If we need to hire more, we'll hire more. I just don't know how to read what the future is going to bring right now. But remember, when you Cellercise, you don't have to work out. You can now play in. And we make it fun, easy, convenient, effective, efficient, safe, and portable. Thank you. We'll talk to you next week.